Okie dokie. All right, we are back.
Yes.
We are live. What is up, everybody? This may seem a little off because I'm actually re-recording this without talking to Josh right now. But we're back for laying it down with Big D. I had to go over and re-record this intro here. We have got Josh LittleBEER Stuckley with us today. How are we feeling today, Josh? This is Counter-Strike player, competitor, ECL player, mind you. How are we doing today, Josh?
I'm doing great. How are you? Doing great.
I really, I'm glad you're willing to come back here and do this with us
That's okay.
again. Uh, we'll have you re-answer some questions as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would be very glad to tell it again. And I also want to start this off by thanking you for letting me get on here. I think what you do is pretty cool. You provide a voice to the people that don't normally get one aside from, an interview here or there. So I think this is like very good for the NA scene, and I think what you're doing is pretty fucking dope. So
Well, I really appreciate hearing that, dude. That means a
yeah.
lot. It's been very meaningful to get to do this and have the community respond, even if it's just a few dozen people at first. It's really nice knowing that people enjoy this and getting to build characters within the scene. So I
For
appreciate
sure.
you recognizing that and saying such nice things. Let's go all the way
Yeah.
back in time, though. Where did you start in gaming, and how did you get into Counter Strike?
So I've always been a fan of video games. Like growing up, I had like a PlayStation 2. Um, I used to play with my friends. Like I don't know if you know what NFL Blitz is, where like you played football, but the main part was you got to beat the shit out of everyone while playing football in the video game. So there was that game, and then there was an MLB game where it's like if you were like on a hot streak, the ball caught on fire, and you could like punch the ball out of the people's hands and stuff. That game was like really cool too. So those are like my main two games growing up, were just like sports games, and that was until like my dad got me into first person shooters. Way back when. Uh, not that like I couldn't ever remember like what he really like played whenever I was real young, but when I was real little, I used to sneak down to the basement where his PC setup was whenever I was a real little kid, past my mom, and I used to play video games with him until my mom caught me downstairs, and she would like get mad at me and make me go back upstairs. That was like whenever I was like 4 or 5 years old. So that was like a really cool memory. And around whenever I turned 12, I went through like the whole Xbox console phase and stuff like that. I never had a PC as like a younger kid. But once I turned like 12, my dad built me my first computer. And he made me my first Steam account, and like he did all that stuff for me. And at the time, like he still played games, and his name was Beer Man, and he pretty much fostered my name, and he gave me the name Little Beer. And ever since then I kept it. And the main reason that I kept it is like whenever I turned 15, he ended up passing away from cancer. Uh, he had lung cancer, oral cancer, and I think that's it. It ended up being in his liver and stuff, but uh, the main two were the lung and the oral cancer. And I ended up keeping the name in honor of him, just because if I ever like made it somehow, some way in the scene, whether it's as a pro or as a content creator or just in an org somewhere, I think it would be like a super cool thing to have him with me, like a piece of him while I make my dream come true. So like that's pretty much like my story that got me into the gaming part. And to answer the second part of your question with what got me into Counter Strike, um, I used to play a game called Day of Defeat Source. It was like a Half-Life 2 mod, and I pretty much got involved with a community called Edge Gamers. I don't know if you've ever heard of EGO, but it was a very large community in gaming at the time, and it was like early, like 2013, 14, 15, 2016, like around there, and like I only would play that game. But whenever CS:GO came out, all of them kind of started to play it, and like I convinced my dad at the time back in 2013, whenever it came out, or 2014, to buy it for me. And pretty much then on, I was hooked. Like I would play matchmaking with my friends every day. I made a friend from Canada, and every weekend from 9 in the morning until like 7 at night, we would play Overpass only. Overpass, uh, CS:GO matchmaking. Literally, that was it. And Cash. We played Cash a lot. But yeah, those are like very fond memories of mine. And I only started playing competitively in 2020 whenever COVID kind of happened. So, but that's pretty much like how I got the start into gaming and Counter-Strike.
That's beautiful. Well, and I appreciate you sharing that
Thank
with
you.
us, Josh, because yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you had to go through that and that you lost your dad that way, but I think it's a beautiful way
It's
to
okay.
honor his memory and carry on that legacy. And what a cool way that you guys that you can do that with continuing to game, since that's how you guys bonded as well when you were
Yeah,
younger. Um Okay, I know this is gonna sound insincere for a moment after that, but we're gonna do a quick pause to verify that all audio is working correctly before we
that's
go
fine.
too much further here. We're gonna we're gonna stop the recording. Go. Okay, let's get back to business here. Thank you so much. I apologize for the cut there that could not be more poorly timed with such a heartfelt share there from Josh, and I apologize for that, everybody. But let's get back to it. Let's continue hearing. We wanted to make sure the audio is working. We're gonna have to re-record the intro because it didn't record at the very beginning. But Big D will worry about all that on my end. Don't you worry. Well, we've gotten to you playing some Counter Strike now and getting into matchmaking through
Yeah.
CS:GO. What like once you started what was the journey to advance like and ECL?
The journey was, I, I mean, from 2020 till now, it's actually kind of crazy because um, when I first started, I used to play college baseball. Um, CS wasn't really an option for me at first just because of like I had no time in the day for anything. Like I literally would practice from 6 in the morning until 8 in the morning, and then I would do my college classes, and then I'd practice from 4 to like 7, and then like it was a long day, and then I had homework, whatever. But once COVID happened, I hated school, and I just wanted to work. So I ended up getting a job, and I left school, but the competitive itch stayed in me, and like I needed something. Like I was itching to be competitive somehow, some way. I didn't care what it was. And I latched on to Counter-Strike, and I found out about like open and like all this stuff and like building a team, and like that whole basis of like getting to the top instantly became my goal. Like it was just so addicting. Like not even the game being addicting. It was like the competitiveness is what I'm addicted to. I love the game now, but then it was all about being competitive and like winning. And I'm still like that, but I've like gained more passion for the game as time went on. Other like at the beginning, like it was just kind of like I wanted to play to like win something, but now it's more like I want to win something, but I also love the whole everything that like orchestrates it and like everything involved. I love it all now. So like it became a very big passion of mine. um so I kind of started in like open, and I played IM in like the end of 2020. And actually I was in like an IM playoff game, and my PC blew up, and that kind of like halted my gaming experience for like 3 months because I saved up for a new PC. And I came back and I played some more open seasons, and I eventually landed on a main team. It was my first one. I can't remember the year it was. It was like 2021, 2022. And yeah, I struggled as a competitive player for a while because I was so behind the game. Like I was 20 years old. We had people that were like, 17, 18, competing above me that were already like years ahead of me. I had no coach, I had no guidance. I was doing it all on my own. Like I was watching pro games anytime I could, and like I didn't know anybody at the time. Like I was just kind of like doing things on my own, and that's whenever I made a Twitter account and I started making friends in the scene. And let me tell you, like side note, connections are humongous in Counter-Strike. Like you have to be a good player, but if you don't have connections, it's hard. And making connections is huge, and like never trying not to burn bridges, and like keeping cordial and like being friendly to people is a very big thing. Um but yeah, so I made it to main. Um, that is like pretty much where I ended in CS:GO. Like I couldn't get past that bump. I couldn't figure it out. So I ended up really starting to watch demos and like practicing on my own game and not so much being like in the server with other people, and like just doing solo stuff. And once CS2 came out, I instantly switched to that game. Like everyone's like, "Oh, CS2 is not going to be, you know, ready yet. Like it's not going to be this, that, or the other." But as soon as like the beta came out, I stopped playing CS:GO. Like I was on a team like for CS:GO at the time, but any chance that we weren't practicing, I was playing the CS2 beta. Like I didn't care about CS:GO anymore. I knew this was like the new thing. Like you need to get good at this game. And I feel like I have I'm not going to say like I'm the best player, or like I, have the stats to prove that or anything. But I tried very hard to jump ahead of the curve early just so I could like, you know, it's a new game. Like it's the same game, but it's a new game. So I tried to get ahead of that. And that's when I started making connections and I ended up landing on an advanced team. And I met some very cool people along the way. I played for one, two, I played for three solid advanced teams before I made ECL. Like I had three teams that pretty much took my whole tenure of advanced. Um, I ended up playing only 5 seasons of advanced before I qualified for ECL, which I feel like is a really cool feat. Like I feel like that isn't very long. Um, but yeah, like it was really cool getting that experience and then like making it to like the ECL level. And although we didn't do like the best in ECL, like I will never take that experience for granted. I learned so much, and I met some really cool people, and I feel like now I'm like triple the player that I was like 5 months ago. And you know, stats don't always show for that, but like the knowledge and like the understanding that you get from playing like the better teams really goes a long way. And yeah, so like that's pretty much my pathway to ECL. Just like early on struggles, and you just got to keep grinding. Like people, you know, hear other people tell you that you're bad, or like I've always like tried to prove people wrong even if like people aren't telling me that I'm bad. But you know, having a chip on your shoulder and just like putting the time in and like not letting other people affect that really goes a long way after a while. You start to see progress after doing it for so long.
Yeah.
That was I just
No,
yapped a
dude,
lot,
I'm
so I
I'm soaking it
apologize,
in.
but
I appreciate it. It's this is your time to shine. I like listening to this kind of stuff. I am curious because you talked about like you didn't have a coach or any guidance along the way. If you were to
Mhm.
coach somebody now that was like starting in the same spot you were, like somebody that's like hungry,
Right.
young, ready to play, you can tell
Mhm.
they've got it, but like they've still got like they're starting at an open level. Let's say they're just 2K, right? 2K elo.
Yeah.
Um what would be the things that you would want to help somebody like mechanically wise? Like how would you help that person get better at the game faster to increase at levels? Or is it just
Mhm.
yeah, what would your coaching be? Like what would you wish you had for that period
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to get at.
So the advice, well, first off, the advice I would give like a player that is trying to become better at the game is to be a sponge. Don't be so bullheaded and like thinking that you're right about everything. Like, you know, it's okay to have views of the game and like play the game your way and like understand the game in your own, way, like, like looking at certain rounds and like understanding like, oh, I could have done this, that, or the other. But being a sponge, listening to people that are better than you and always surrounding people, like trying to surround yourself by people that are better than you is a very important thing, I think. Um, and asking questions, like people don't ask enough questions. I think it's okay to not know something, but if you are constantly like asking questions and like retaining the information that is like somebody that's better than you is giving you, you'll learn a lot faster and you'll understand the game a lot quicker. Um, People that are like at the lower tier, they're very it's like it's not I wouldn't say it's an ego, but it's like they they feel like they're in the right a lot, and in reality they refuse to like listen to people that have been there before and like understand where they're coming from, but they don't want to it's like they ask for help but they don't want the help, you know? It's like you have to want to be helped, and like you have to actually acknowledge what they're telling you for it to like apply. You can't just be like, yeah, okay, and like shrug it off. Because then people just make the same mistakes, and like that's whenever those players that like once had potential just kind of like plateau very early on because they don't let other people that have been there teach them or like help them understand what it's like to be at like the next level, or like maybe like a little bit better than the current level that they're at, you know? Um, Mechanically, obviously death matching's good, but that's not like the only thing you should do. Like you should shoot bots. I think refrag is a very good tool. I think people that are in like the lower levels that don't understand like common angles or like uh pathing into a site or um you know setups that CTs might have on a certain spot of the map. Refrag applies a lot of that, and like for a newer player, getting those angles like pre-aim angles down and stuff like that is a very crucial thing, I think, and like people don't understand that. That's why like if I play a pug and then there's like someone that's a little bit lower like tier or like level than I am, um, you always see like their crosshair, like it's like they look like they're aiming at their dicks pretty much. But instead, you need to have your crosshair set to like the other team's like head level before you peek the angle, because if not, if that player on the other side of things is better than you, is just gonna shit on you every single time because their crosshair is in the right spot, and the fact that you have to adjust yours is like that split second that you don't have anymore and you could just lose. And especially on land, like there's no latency on land. So if you fuck that up, like you're not gonna make it far. But yeah, like the key thing that I think I would push towards someone if I was coaching them is to like just listen and like ask questions. Like it's okay to not know things. That's the whole part of it. That goes with that applies with anything. It applies for a job or a sport that you play. If you don't know anything, ask. Like that's the main goal. I think the more questions you ask, the faster you will improve. That's the whole
I
thing.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I most recently saw a picture and learned about you, and I'm glad we're getting to redo this because I learned it between recording with you the first time and doing this one. You hold your mouse in your left hand.
I do.
Do you have,
And I use arrow
and
keys.
you use arrow keys. Like you straight up look like you're playing
Yeah.
Doom from 1991 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
What
Yes.
how did that come up? Yeah,
What made
how
me
did
do
that
that?
I'm assuming you're a left-handed
So
person, but like
I am
how do
left-handed.
you land on like where are all your keys that
So
you use?
I could go through like the
Yeah,
basic layout of
the
how I do
basic
things,
things
but
because I assume the arrows are movement.
yeah, so backstory, the reason why I use arrow keys is because of my dad, actually. Half-Life 2 and everything like that wasn't predominantly
Right.
WASD yet. Like those earlier games. So he used arrow keys. So like whenever I would like hop on his setup and like sneak and play with him and stuff, I got used
It
to
was
arrow
like
keys,
all on the
and
keyboard,
that's
right?
how it
Like you
was.
didn't use your mouse,
Yeah, pretty
if I
much.
remember.
Like the mouse is for pointing and shooting, but everything else is on the keyboard. So that's how I got used to that. But to put in perspective, my like left, right, up, and down are the arrow keys, right? Um, the shift button next to my arrow keys is my walk button. So that would be walk. Right CTRL would be uh my crouch. Um, trying to think of other things. Apostrophe is for me to drop a gun. As funny as that sounds. My delete key is my smoke bind. My end key is my molly bind. Uh, my right close bracket is my
Where's your
HE,
reload?
and then my reload is on my mouse. So I have a reload key and then a flash key.
Oh my word.
That's what I
Do,
use.
do you
Yeah,
use scroll
it's
wheel to
actually
jump?
crazy. And no, I use
Oh my
spacebar.
lord.
People hate on spacebar, but Simple, whenever he was in his prime, used spacebar. So I don't want to hear
Exclusively?
the haters. And
Oh
he
my
used the
god.
spacebar.
What is this world coming
But
to?
yeah. So what else is funny is like left click and right click. My pointer finger is the right click, and my middle finger is the left click. So it's like as a right-handed person, your pointer finger would be the left click, and your middle finger would be the right
Man,
click. So it's crazy. Like it's like completely
yeah, you
inverted.
could get somebody all sorts of fucked up if you had them sit down at your computer.
Oh, dude. Whenever I've been at land if I've been at LAN a few times and people have sat down at my setup and they're like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "Well, here's these keys and you have to use these to move and like here's my mouse." And they're like, "Okay." So they're trying to like it's like have you ever seen someone like that's right-handed try to throw a football left-handed? That's like kind of what it looked
Oh,
like
I'm
on CS.
sure.
It was kind of funny.
Do you ever find
Um,
yourself like bumping and grinding into people when with like
at
yeah,
LAN?
like do you ever smack a mouse hands
No,
or do
because
you always
I
sit on one
well,
end?
no, because they permanently put me on the left
You're
side.
just always on
I'm
the far
always on
left
the end on
side.
the left.
That actually
Yes.
probably
I
opens
have
up a
to
lot
be.
of space for both you and the person.
It helps me. Yeah. People like sitting next to me because of that. Because they're like, "Oh, your keyboard's just right there? That means my whole mouse pad could be out
Right.
and about." Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. But the downside of me being left-handed, what I would say is that I can't use a 10 keyless or like a mini keyboard. I have to have a full keyboard. And the thing is, with the way gaming is going, companies are starting to stop, like they're not making full keyboards anymore. Like it's all the new releases are like 10 keyless or like 60% keyboards. And like I just want a company to make me a really good full keyboard. Like I want a full one, you know, that doesn't cost me like 800
I
bucks or whatever
I
it
think
is.
I think keyboards in PC gaming are gonna start like not phasing out, but like I think we're gonna see like I don't remember where it was, but I saw something recently that was like there's a full blown like it was like a thing that you put your hand into and it was like it had a bunch of
Oh, I seen that. It looks like a
yeah, it looks
claw
almost like
almost.
a claw, but it's like you can rest your hand
Hmm.
on it and it's got all of these buttons on it that
Yeah.
you can program and it's like
Hmm. There's a name for it. I don't know what it is, but
that looks
uh, I know Fortnite players use
yeah,
it. I think there's some
I
Fortnite
bet
players
that
that use
yeah,
that
because there's so
because it's easy to like build and
yeah, I
stuff.
bet
Yeah.
and I mean you could easily program that to do everything you need to in a game like Counter-Strike as well. I
Yeah.
imagine especially with like the world needing to go more towards LAN for like the competitive integrity part of these tournaments, something like that will be a
That's true.
will be a godsend. Where did we see that
Yeah.
thing recently?
I saw it on TikTok. I saw somebody using it on TikTok. Like I was scrolling through like doom scrolling at night and somebody was live streaming on their setup and like they didn't have a face cam. They had their keyboard hand cam, and it was like them using the buttons. And like it looked weird because there were so many buttons, and like he was using like the sides of his fingers to like hit some of them, and it was like weird. And I would, for me, like I would feel like a moron trying to get used to that,
Oh
I think.
yeah.
Like I don't know how, like my brain would, like my left and right side of my brain would be like what the, like how? And I would not, I don't think I'd be able to figure it out unless I used it for like 2 years or something. But
Maybe I saw one in Vegas is where I saw it. Cause that's
okay.
but you were in Vegas too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really go down to the other floor when I was there.
Oh yeah, you were locked in with your team upstairs the entire time, huh?
Yeah, and it was also unfortunate too because like the day one thing happened where like I played
Oh
a
no.
best of three in the morning and then we had tech issues from, it was like 14 hours of tech issues. And it wasn't the frag
No,
people's
no, it
fault.
was not the frag
It
people's
wasn't.
fault. It
They
was
the land center wouldn't let the frag people do what they needed to do. And the land center people poorly wired Ethernet cables and it was creating like internet loss on a LAN server somehow, which was crazy. Um, and then like there were power strips going out, like whole strips of PCs would lose
oh yeah.
power. And I felt like honestly, like God's gift to everything, Ed is amazing. He is so good at his job. And like he pretty much set up that land center while we were playing that whole day. Like he got like it was crazy. Like the whole thing, like I wouldn't be able to do what he does and handle all that stress because like that is a crazy job.
Oh yeah.
I give him
All those
credit.
frag guys,
Yeah.
we love them. The stuff that they do
Yeah, everyone,
and
they're all
and
great.
the amount of work that they're doing during those events and to get those events running is nothing short of amazing. I mean,
Yep.
it's really cool every time I've gotten to be a part of it. I'm very much looking forward to Frag 19, baby, here in a few weeks. I know we won't be seeing Little
Yeah.
Beer there. We're sad about that, but
Yeah,
uh,
it's unfortunate.
we'll be seeing you at Moorlands this year. No?
Yeah, if there's one on the East Coast at the end of the year, I'm gonna try to get to that one. I looked into the dates for like the Canada and the Nashville one, and with how I have a new job, I got a new job in January. I work at a bank. So like I'm full-time banker and full-time CS at the same time. So like it is a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. But um I am pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole. So like I get 3 weeks of vacation, but everybody gets to pick the days that they get off before me. And pretty much those days are completely blacked out. Like I don't even have a sliver of a chance to get those
Damn
days
it.
off. So yeah. So that's why I want to make this dream come true. Like whatever it may be, if somebody wants to sponsor me, I don't care what it is. If an org, if I don't care. I think I could provide a lot of value to whatever it may be. Uh, and that's my dream. That's why like I want to get there. I don't want to work a job and like do this for free. I want to do this as a whole. Obviously, the money is a bonus. Like I will continue to do this for free for as long as I possibly can. Uh, but obviously, I want to make this a career at some point, and I don't care what avenue it is. Obviously, right now I want to be the competitive player, Little Beer, but you know, if I ended up being a content creator or, part of like the back end of an org, or I don't care. Like I want to be here. I know that this is what I'm meant to do and like that's what I want to that's where I want to be at the end of the day. The bank's just like you know, obviously it's like a priority right now, but I don't want that to be the
It's
case.
just
That's just for me to pay
right.
my bills. That's
It's
pretty
just
much it.
stability right
Yeah,
now is all it is. As soon as
that's
that
it.
comes through from Counter Strike, sayonara, bankeroni.
Yeah, 2 weeks. What? I don't even know if I'm gonna
Yeah,
put my
dude,
2 weeks
you
in.
better watch out. I don't,
They don't care about me. Those businesses, like those big businesses, they're like, it's respectful to put your 2 weeks in. but then they don't schedule you after you put your 2 weeks in. So like, what really is
Yeah,
the
it doesn't seem like a thing that matters in the modern day. I think
Yeah.
it does at a certain point if you're like trying to get a job at another place
Right.
or whatever, or like you know that your position needs to be
Yeah.
filled, so you give somebody time to fill that position. But yeah, when you know that it's just like you're just a number to these
You'll just
people,
be
yeah, you'll
replaced
be
next
replaced
week.
immediately. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Um, well, I do want to ask you right now you're a free agent, right?
Yeah.
What so
Yes.
before I ask you what's on the horizon for you as far as like what you're looking
Hmm.
for or season 54 or season 50 of ECL, what are some of the issues that plague North American Counter-Strike as a whole in your brain, and what do you think and I say it that way because NACS is not on the level with global CS. I mean, we just watched all of our teams get
Yeah.
trounced out. Even our last remaining hope of an NA player is out of the major
Hmm.
uh, in the playoffs here. So, what do you think is missing from NA, and what can we do to solve some of these issues?
Um, I think that NA, oh, there's like three main points, I think. The first one, these are not in any order. The first one being that at the higher level, there isn't enough leadership in the higher level. Like there's not like those like experienced players that can like teach the younger generation of Counter-Strike players, the up and comers, the right way and like make them ready for that next level. Like I think that there are a few main like people that are good leaders. Like for instance, I could name a few right now. Like Stanislaw, I think is a great leader. Um I think he provides a lot of value for like like the younger players and like he's been involved with like a bunch of projects and like trying to get like those younger players better. Like pretty much JBA has been under his wing for a very long time, even before they were on an org together. So like that's like a big like a leadership role that you need in NA, right? Um, I think like having like Rush on your team would be really cool. Like Nouns had Rush for a very decent amount of time. And like that's like a good leader to have because like he's been to a major, like he's been there. Like we don't have a lot of that. Whereas like EU, they have like a old pro on like every team as like a coach or like we don't have much of that. Like it's not as diverse here. So like we're pretty much like struggling to find our own paths because there isn't enough leadership to go around to all these new teams and like new players. And I'm not saying that you can't make it with like out a leader like that, but it would make it a lot easier to learn from like a mentor such as like the two players I said, or like even if like Stewie would come back, you know, on an org of some sort and like taught some of the younger generation of players or even like Freakazoid, like they all like I understand that they're just like they're streamers now and like they're like content creators and stuff, but I think that if they were involved with a team they would provide a lot of value just on like the mental and like outside of the game standpoint that would like help the younger players um progress because some of them have the potential but we don't really have the funding nor we don't have like the um what's the word for it? We don't have the I can't think of the word.
The structure,
Utilities. It's like we don't have the
the
not
resources.
utilities but
Is that the word
resources.
you're looking
Yes.
for?
To get better. Yes, resources. We don't have like not every team has that, right? You know, a lot of teams are paying for like the refrag or prac or whatever subscriptions out of their own pockets and like there's just like a lot of things that um these pro teams like have at their disposal. The biggest one is time. Like they get to, practice as long as they want throughout the day. A lot of us, like I get home from work at like 5:30, so like I can only realistically prac from like 7 to midnight or something like that. Uh, because obviously I need to have like somewhat of time to like eat dinner and like a shower or and be a normal human being, because if not it's like literally impossible. But like these pro players, like the tier 1 players in EU and stuff, they have their own schedule. They practice from like 4 till 9 p.m., whatever it may be. Like they have their practice and that's their job, and that's all their life is like Counter-Strike, and they can invest all of their time into one thing. Whereas I think the majority of North America has to have a full-time job in order to even make this even a possibility for them. Or, I mean, like the only other option is like they're a college kid, or like someone that's still like living at home only, and like they don't have to worry about finances yet. So, but the timeline for an NA player to get there during that phase of their life is very short compared to like someone in Europe. That's point one. Point two, uh, kind of piggybacks off of the first one with like listening to a leader. People don't like to listen in NA. Like they take everything personal. They think like you criticizing them is like a hit to their like, you know, ego, or like their themselves as a player. Whereas like if you just listen to like like the person that's like telling you what's wrong, if you just, even if like they're not wording it the right way, like even if someone's being like a quote unquote dick to you, there's some truth to like what they're saying, like you don't have to take everything at face value, but like if you just look back and see what they said and be like, maybe okay, maybe I did do something wrong, or maybe I could have done something better. Um, there's not enough of that. I think that people just get mad at each other and like shut down very easily. Like I'm not gonna say it's like a completely weak mental, but um, people just don't like to be criticized in in this region. Like you criticize somebody or like tell them that do something different, and they just get mad and like stop talking and be emo, which is not the right way to do things.
No, it's not. And I
Um,
think a lot of that, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I just
you're
want
fine.
to
You're
add
good.
in that I think a lot of that comes from the fact that our region just doesn't play on LAN. Like this game isn't played on.
It's LAN, or just does they don't play like a sport
Yeah, yeah. A
outside
lot of
of
these players don't
CS,
play
or
like a team
like
based physical sport where you're. But like the main point is like
yeah,
you listen to other people better when you're face to face in that competitive environment, or you
very true.
learn to
Hmm.
quicker. Whereas when you're sitting at home in the comfort of your own home and you're chilling in your zone,
You feel
if
untouchable
somebody
when you're in your
comes
own
into
house.
that
Like,
zone, you're like, hey, get out of there, buddy. I don't want to hear that. Stay
yeah,
away. I can't be wrong,
yeah.
you know?
It's like firewall, firewall,
Right. It's just this is
firewall.
why it's so important to like get out there to LAN, or at the very least, like if you're younger, like be invested in a team sport for a little while before you come play this game.
Yeah. And like you don't even have to do like a physical sport, like, or just be involved in something that
Go be on the
provides
debate
you
team.
to be, or just like be involved in like a community of people that like give you feedback, or like work a job, or like it doesn't even have to be like a crazy job. Work at McDonald's, even like somewhere where like you are told that you're doing something wrong and you have to listen to someone or something, because like a lot of these people they just give me the vibe that they're so entitled, and like that they do no wrong, or like if they are doing wrong, they're still going to project it back at you that you're doing something wrong too, or something like that. Like instead of just being like, I accept that I'm doing something wrong and like I'll be better about it. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been screamed at by a coach, or you know someone like on a like my baseball team, or like when I played basketball or whatever it may be. I feel like kids lack that now. Like they've never been yelled at before, and now that they're being told that they're doing something wrong, it's like instant rage in their head. They're like, okay, I can't handle this. Like, I'm gonna freak out. And a lot of it comes from like, I understand that the dynamic of a gamer is a bit different, because like a lot of people in the gaming scene don't really go outside much. And like I understand that, like that's fine. Uh I'm grateful that I did most of my like early life like not behind a screen, because it kind of made me see things that from a different perspective. But I understand like some people didn't do that. Like, the newer generation, Uh, I was born in 99, but like these kids that were born in like 2005, 2006 or whatever, you know, a lot of their childhood, like their core years were in COVID, you know, like they stayed inside, they didn't do anything, no social cues, the inability of being social. Uh, I understand. Like, I'm not gonna hate on someone for it. Like, everybody has a different life, everybody goes through different things. Uh, Nobody deserves to be criticized or like put down for that. But do think that everybody has a choice on being like a good person, and everyone has a choice on whether they want to learn or not. You have to want to learn. You have to want to be better, and it all comes down to you. Nobody can tell you that. It's all on you. You are what gets you there or not. And you know, the people that kind of like play victim to that, or like kind of, you know, jump from thing to thing or team to team and the same result happens, maybe they like should take time and like look in the mirror and like kind of understand that maybe they're the problem. And like, I'm not naming out any person. This is very general
Right, right.
conversation, but you know, but it's, you see it all the time, and it's like it's very common here. And I think people need to realize that if you accept fault and like work on yourself to being better. Oh, I just opened up a
Just
tab
got
somehow, but
flashbanged.
um yeah, I know. I think that would go a long way. And I don't know, people are gonna hear this, and even the people that I'm talking about, like, they're gonna feel attacked because
Hey,
like
if
they're gonna
listen,
relate to
if you
something, or
relate
you know
to
what
it,
I
it's
mean?
time to look in the mirror. That's all there is to it. You are
That's what I'm
literally
saying.
not
That's all I'm
talking about
saying.
anybody specifically, and
No.
it's one of these things too as well where it it is a thing in our scene. We live like I just said, we live in
Yeah.
these comfort zones, and of course we can acknowledge all of these things, these external factors that happen to people that bring them to the why they are the way they are. But like, it never
Right.
hurts to tell people like, hey, have some more reflection in your life and be more open. It goes back
Hmm.
to what you were saying at the beginning of this. Be a, like what you would tell a player just starting out, be a sponge. Like, be open, be willing,
Yeah.
be programmed to receive. Like, allow it
Hmm.
in so that you can allow it to change you into that better player that you want to become, because
For
that's what
sure.
we all want to be at the end of the day.
Exactly. And you know, it costs, like, I'm gonna finish that point with this, is like it costs $0 to be a good person. Like, that's all. It's it's the cheapest thing in the world. It's very cheap.
Say, yeah, exactly. All right, well, I've got two last questions here for you, Josh. I think this has
Yeah.
been a wonderful episode and a re-recording, and we're making it work here.
Yeah.
Uh, let's do it. Let's do a quick check here just to make sure that we've been recording this whole time. Okay, we've been recording this whole time on my end. Don't worry. Okay, good.
Laying it down with Big D turns into getting it up with,
Well, hold
wait,
on now.
hold
Hold
up.
on now. If you could see my cat's face right now, he's even horrified by what you just said. Yeah,
Momo, chill
Momo,
out. Momo,
please.
chill out.
Um, okay, so we've got our top four teams at the major right now. As soon as we're
Yes.
done,
Crazy scenes, by the way.
crazy.
Crazy,
What?
like,
But
yeah.
do you think there's anybody here that can stop Vitality at this point?
I want to say yes, but my brain's telling me no. Uh, I love the story of Pain. Like, I think the fact that like Snow came in, beat his, like, you know, guy that he looked up to his whole career, beat him in a quarterfinal of a major, was like awesome. I'm a huge fan of NQZ. I think NQZ is very good. Um, I don't think that they can. I don't. I don't think that they could beat. They're playing
They're
Mongols,
playing
right?
Mongols, and then Vitality are playing Mouse.
Mongols are playing out of their mind. And actually, last night I got into a pug with Techno 4K and Senzu, and Techno 4K was taking all of his anger out on the North
Was
American
he?
scene. Like I think he dropped 28 kills in our game. Like and he didn't say anything to us. Like he said no words. He didn't use his mic at all. Like maybe for like 2 rounds. And he just completely wiped the server clean. Like it was insane. They are going to be I think that they're the best chance of beating Vitality right now out of the four. Who's Vitality playing right
They're
now?
gonna
Or who
play
are they going to play?
Mouse, and
Mouse. Mouse looked good
Mouse
too.
looked good, but
Don't get me
also
wrong.
Spirit
And they
bungled.
played close. Yeah, but Mouse has also played close to Vitality in the past. Like they almost beat them. It was like what was like 2-1 in a final like a couple months back and uh I don't know. Mouse has I think whenever Mouse is fully on point, they have what it takes I think to beat a top team like Vitality, but they have to have everything going for them. Like they can't have a guy that's like double negative or like struggling. They're all five of them have to be doing like what they need to do. And obviously, I think you're gonna get that out of like Jimmy, like Jim Fat. I think he's gonna be great. I think Exertion's been playing very good. Um, I just don't know. Like Vitality has an all-star at every
Right.
position,
Like you
A-
and an actual
and it
all-star team,
they
the
do.
way you want it
Anybody
built,
could pop off.
it's not five superstars being put into
No, but they have a superstar in
right.
each
That's
role
in
at
their
their
role,
role.
at their role, playing their role. And it's like
The fact that they got Rops is just
yeah,
criminal.
dude, I saw them pick up
Like,
Rops earlier this year. I was like, there's our dynasty
yeah,
team, and they have not
that's the
disappointed.
Infinity
Yeah,
Gauntlet.
it's insane.
Literally.
I'm excited
Yeah.
to watch it. Well, I've got one more question here for you, and then we'll wrap it up so we can go enjoy those
Yeah, for
games as
sure.
they're getting started here. And we've had lots of wonderful advice in this, but one more time, Josh, I'm gonna ask you here if you could give the younger generation, a younger version of yourself, some advice, whether Counter Strike or esports or baseball or basketball or whatever you want it to be related
Yeah.
to, what would that advice be?
Um, I wish I would have taken CS seriously at a younger age. Like that, I have no idea where I would be right now if that would have been the case. Like if I would have started when I was 16, that would have been 4 more years of this game under my belt. And like who knows, right? That's like a shoulda, coulda, woulda thing. But that's not really advice. Advice I would have probably given myself at a younger age would be to surround yourself earlier on with like people that are better than you. Because I only started to do that whenever I was like when CS2 kind of started. But if I would have, I feel like if I would have done that earlier on, I would be further along now. So I think like trying to find good people that are also like good at the game that you like to enjoy your time around, uh, that's like the best case. Like there's no other feeling than playing a game with people that like you love and like you like playing with and while also winning. Like that is super cool. And you know, I highly recommend like the younger generation to find a group of five that you really enjoy playing with and they all share the same goals as you because that is where the magic can happen in the game of Counter-Strike.
I like that. All right, dude. Well, thank
Yeah,
you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing everything that you
thank you.
have today. And I look forward to seeing you at LAN when I do see you at LAN. Uh, and
Yes.
then the Hot One style, this camera, this camera, this camera. Look into them and yeah, tell us what you got going on because we never asked what's on the horizon.
Um, I think I would love to play ECL, but there aren't many teams that are looking for players in ECL right now. So I'm probably going to try to find a very good advanced team. I've been trying out for a few teams. I don't want to leak or say anything yet because nothing's set in stone. Nothing is confirmed, but I like where I'm at right now, and I'm taking the time to really gauge what I want as a player this time around and not what I think. Like I'm not trying to a lot of people, I don't know how to explain it, but I've often joined teams to try to like think that they could be better with me, if that makes sense. But I want to join a team where I feel like I can not only provide value to them, but it's also providing value to myself. And I don't think I've done that before. And I'm really weighing in things and taking my time with it this time around instead of jumping to a solution or something I think might be good, but it's just like a honeymoon feeling. So yeah, that makes
That does
sense.
make sense. All right, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you all for watching. And that
Thank you guys.
is it.